Hello, my name is Denise Rimmer. This is my case presentation number 2. The case that I am presenting is a 19-year-old black male that is homeless. The 19-year-old black male was paralyzed from the waist down after being shot 9 times back in April. The 19-year-old does not have a family support system. The 19-year-old's father was, according to the client, killed with poison in their drink. The 19-year-old has also been in and out of the juvenile detention as a juvenile, so much so that they did not get a high school education. The client states that they were only out of detention for just a couple months at a time. The individual came to Simon House February 27th after they found out the friend of the family they were staying with was being evicted. The individual was brought to Simon House's attention through an older gentleman that has been working with the client. The relationship between the older gentleman and the client is not known. They claim to be just friends. The friend cannot take the individual in due to their family is against it, and the individual lives with the family members. The client came to Simon House, which is a non-profit emergency shelter. Simon House put him up on the 27th. This case is complicated due to the individual has been allegedly charged and has court March 21st. The individual could serve as much as 12 years due to the crimes they allegedly committed. There are other factors such as the individual's mental health. The individual has claimed that they are schizophrenic and bipolar. These are areas of concern. The individual does not receive the idea of counseling well and rejects it. The individual has not sought any counseling for the trauma of being shot or paralyzed from the waist down or the loss of a family member. The individual's mother is not in the picture and has not been for a long time. According to the client, they moved his dad and him from, I believe it was Ohio, to Louisville, Kentucky. The individual grew up in an environment where dad was in and out of jail and spent a considerable amount of time in prison. The individual grew up in the environment where drugs were acceptable and the norm. Prison time was something to be proud of. The client has been in and out of juvenile detention. They do not have a high school education as a result. Simon House has been providing shelter for the individual along with emergency food and clothing. Mark Johnson is the case manager that is handling this case. Simon House has done the necessary paperwork for intake. The individual has been with Simon House since February 27th, and they currently are. The individual is staying at their off-site location. I may have already said this, sorry, and will be moving to the community shelter when it opens on the 16th of this month. The individual is homeless and recently physically handicapped and in a wheelchair. Trying to find the individual help as far as housing is a problem, as due to depending on how the court case goes on March 21st and the possible sentencing for the alleged crimes they committed in July. Causing and consequences. The environment in which the person grew up in, to being shot, and to the alleged crimes that they have committed all have been causes and consequences. Currently being homeless due to the loss of his father, the mother not being in the picture and growing up without her, growing up with a father who spent considerable amount of time in prison, and this is considered to be an achievement. The juvenile record from childhood, I am unable to complete high school, growing up around drugs, and the mother was supposedly on heroin when pregnant with the client. The client has no family support in the state and cannot go out of state due to the pending court case. The client and the father moved to Louisville when he was 13. The father was killed, according to the individual, due to poisoning in his drink. These all had a direct impact on the client. And we can see how system theory plays really well into this case due to the environment in which the individual grew up with, the lack of family structure, and to what is acceptable culturally in the environment in which they grew up. The fact that there are so many different elements that impact the individual, you can really see the person and environment really well and how system theories applies. In this case, I really don't think the gainers and losers are clear cut. If Simon House is able to help the client attain housing and get a job, but these are all dependent on how the court case goes on the 21st. This is a case where I don't think it is clear cut, and I think the individual is in for a shock when they found out it doesn't go quite like they thought. This will be the first time this individual is charged as an adult. The individual is very cunning and knows the legal system. They do have a public defender. They don't have any income. Simon House is helping them get their Social Security. And hopefully if the individual is able to help them find a job, depending on the outcome of the court case and housing, this individual has such potential. And I wish there was a possibility of changing the pipeline from juvenile detention to prison. I wish the individual would be accepting of counseling or therapy to help deal with the trauma of being shot and the trauma of being paralyzed from the waist down to the loss of a parent. They could really benefit, but the fact that the individual is not ready for counseling is difficult and limits what we can do. All Simon House can do right now is offer the services. If the individual is interested, we can refer them on. As of right now, the case plan is in the air as of the individual court case has a direct impact. Like I said, Simon House is working to help them get their Social Security, so they have money coming, getting them set up with SNAP, so the individual has food. I'm not sure how this case is going to go. I'm interested in seeing how it goes. My two questions for the class is, how do we stop the cycle of prison for families? And what safety nets can we put into place to prevent the pipeline from juvenile detention to prison? There needs to be changes in our society to help these people and children. They deserve a better future. Hope you all have a great day.